Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is 10 o'clock somewhere, I'm sure. So we'll call our meeting to order and welcome to all those that are attending online. I see Councillor Nielsen, Councillor Bordenauer are joining us online, and all those in the gallery today and watching online as well. So please, if you would, join me in singing O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the
Thank you. I often wondered what we sounded like without the music in the background, and now I know. Maybe we'll get the music fixed. Nonetheless, thank you, everyone. Madam Clerk, would you take the roll call, please?
Councillor Mackey,
Present.
Councillor McKay,
Present.
Councillor Carlton, Councillor Pringle, Councillor McQueen, Councillor Nielsen,
Present.
Councillor Patterson, Councillor Dickert, Councillor Kentner, Councillor Keaveney, Councillor Body, Councillor Gregg, Warden Milne,
Present.
Councillor Delbreen, Councillor Matrosovs, Councillor Bordignon,
Present.
Councillor Eccles, Councillor Hutchinson. We have all members in attendance today.
Thank you, Tara. And before I begin, or we begin, I want to respectfully acknowledge that we are gathering on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe Nation, the people of the Three Fires, known as Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. And further, we give thanks to the Chippewas of Saugeen and the Chippewas of Nawash, known collectively as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, the traditional keepers of these lands and waters since time immemorial. To our south lies the traditional territories of the Six Nations of the Grand River and the Haudenosaunee. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and friendship with all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. Is there any declaration of interest related to any item on today's council agenda? Not seeing any. If one should arise, you can declare it at that time, of course. We have adoption of the minutes from our open and closed sessions on, the council and committee of the whole minutes dated April 25th. Some with Councillor Dickert and Councillor Mackey. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. We also have the closed portion of the committee of the whole meeting minutes dated April 25th. Would someone care to move those? Councillor Keaveney, Councillor DeBreen. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We have no closed meeting matters. There are no reports. We have one bylaw, which is the confirming bylaw. Someone care to move that, please? Councillor Matrosovs and Councillor Eccles. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is carried. News and celebrations. I have a couple that I'll start off with. This, of course, is Nurses Week, which is rather ironic considering some of the things we've been dealing with. But nonetheless, this is National Nurses Week. I think we all know what an important role these healthcare providers play in the well-being of our communities. Grey County is so fortunate to have incredible nurses, PSWs, therapy staff, and so many more in our 3 homes, providing compassionate services to the residents in our care. I think it's important to take a moment to recognize the important work our frontline staff and long-term care do. It's challenging work, and it takes the right kind of person to do it. I'm so grateful for the heartfelt and high quality care our long-term care staff provide. It's also Municipal Clerks Week. This week, yes, absolutely. Municipal clerks play such an important role at the county. The clerk's department is often the first point of contact for residents seeking information, and the team managers, all of these deal with all these inquiries with grace and professionalism. Tara and Sarah do a great job keeping our meetings, and more particularly this warden, online, organized, which is no small task. And behind the scenes, the department, Marlene, Kathy, and Brandon keep us going with important portfolio likes, agreements, records management, accessibility, and so much more. Now, I'd be remiss not to thank Marlene and everyone in Grey County's emergency operations team, because of course, this is also Emergency Preparedness Week. Municipalities are often and are the first level of government that people look to when things go south. We're also the first to jump into action when things happen, and I sleep a little, well, actually a lot easier knowing we have such thorough emergency plan programs in place. Plan for the worst, hope for the best. Although if Marlene was in the room, I think she'd remind us that hoping for the best is not a plan. And we should all make sure we have our 72-hour kit in place and ready to roll. So, anyone else have any items of interest they'd like to share? Councillor Keaveney.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Good morning, everyone. And just wanted to share that the community halls in Meaford are the place to be this weekend. The Bardner Community Center is hosting its annual Artisans Fair from 9 until 3 on Saturday, May the 11th. There'll be vendors there from all over Grey and Bruce County. And on Sunday at Riverside Hall, there will be a breakfast complete with homemade tomato aspic in honor of all moms. So hope to see you at some of those events this weekend. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Shirley. Anyone else? Councillor Carlton.
Thank you, Mr. Warden, and good morning, County Council and everyone in attendance. This past Sunday was National Red Dress Day, hence why I'm dressed like this. It's a day dedicated to seeking to prevent violence against Indigenous women, girls, Two-Spirit, and LGBTQIA+ community members. And it stemmed from an art project in 2010, where red dresses were hung to mark the lives of Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit community members that had been lost to violence. Despite Indigenous communities being approximately 5% of the population, Indigenous women make up more than 16% of femicides and 11% of all missing women. So it's important for us to remember them and to pay tribute and acknowledge the violence that happens there for them. So thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Anyone else? Councillor McQueen.
Well, thank you, Mr. Warden and County Council. A couple things, since you mentioned it's Municipal Clerks Week, I do want to send out a little bit of an accolade to Tara, who a couple meetings back, we had a CAO review process, and Tara was gracious to help fill in to be in that closed session part to accommodate our in-camera session dealing with our CAO review. So that way we didn't have any relationship with staff. So again, I want to thank publicly Tara for helping us out. And I guess that's what we do, as you said, Mr. Warden, we all work together. So thank you again for that. The other thing I want to raise is we have our Ram Rodeo coming up on the 25th and 26th this year in Feversham. So dust off your boots and put on your cowboy hat. Tickets are available. I do want to say that the last 3 years, Mr. Warden, that we've raised over $120,000 for the Martel Hospital Foundation, and we're along, well along that way again, because we have reported that we have $52,000 in sponsorship for this year's rodeo. From and those are from businesses that step up to the plate and sponsor that rodeo. And you know, it's good that we have businesses that are able to, but I do want to publicly thank those businesses that they do that. So basically, all profits, gate receipts, then go into the profit of that rodeo, which goes into the hospital, which we're all winners again on that part. So anyway, we hope for last year we raised $50,000. So hopefully we can surpass that. I hope for good weather. But again, it's a win-win-win for everybody because also those that come out have a really good opportunity to see a really good show. And and there's also the Saturday night, the Kinsmen are having also a dance that evening too. So it's a fulfilled weekend, and let's hope that we have great weather for that event as well. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Paul. Councillor Eccles. Thank you, Mr. Warden. I don't know whether my comments here are going to be more towards a celebration and activities, but just like to say thank you to some of the county staff that were in West Gray, specifically the Durham Arena hall that was packed with somewhere between 600 to 700 people on Tuesday night. I think Ms. Wingrove spoke very eloquently, and the administrator for Rockwood Terrace laid things out of her concern with probably the biggest concern that West Gray's had since it's been amalgamated some odd years ago, 25 years ago now, I guess, that the Durham Hospital, and it's good segue. Thank you, Councillor McQueen, that you're putting money from that rodeo into your hospital. But since the announcement came on April the 25th, that the beds would be transitioning, is the word that's used, out of the Durham site and going to Walkerton and Kincardine. It is enlightened me quite a bit on what is happening to rural health. As I said on Tuesday night, there's a battle going on to save the Durham Hospital and save healthcare in the community of West Gray. But I truly believe, and a lot of the evidence that I've uncovered in the last couple of weeks lead me to believe that the war is on rural healthcare. And anybody that thinks out there that you, whether you're in Alexandria in Eastern Ontario, Little Current in Northern Ontario, Thunder Bay in further Northern Ontario, or Lakeshore down in the Windsor area, the Niagara area, if you have a rural hospital, Durham is just the poster child for this right now of what's going to happen. What is happening to our rural healthcare? We, being a rural community, are just the edge of it, of what's happening in all of rural healthcare in Ontario. Come across a piece just the other day, but it is very evident that the ministry, who said that they have nothing to do with local decisions, have been very much involved with turning Durham and the Chesley Hospital into urgent care centers. As soon as they get to be an urgent care center, as was told to us on Tuesday night, the H comes down. I'm looking to Meaford. And I'm even looking at Markdale. Might have been a vast investment into that hospital and into our healthcare. And what we've put into healthcare is being ripped out of the hearts of our communities. Stay tuned. The battle has begun, but the war is far from being won on this. And it's going to be across Ontario here. This is just the first cut. No, it's about the 995th cut of 1,000 cuts that's going to kill rural healthcare. There will be buses going to Queen's Park. They're being organized as we speak, probably on May the 15th, next Wednesday. There is a rally in Owen Sound put on by the Ontario Health Coalition. Thank you to Mayor Boddy for supplying the facilities at the
town offices here in the city offices. That's on May the 11th. It is here. 9 to 12 will be speakers giving us more information on what's happening. And then the Ontario Health Coalition is holding a vast rally on May 30th, which is a Thursday. Be assembling at Nathan Phillips Square and marching up to Queen's Park. Try and get the attention of the Premier and more so the attention of the Minister of Health on the battle that's needed to take place to save and supply healthcare in rural Ontario. Because supplying it the way it's done in urban areas is different. I hope that I can have your support in the small fight for the Durham Hospital, but the large fight for rural Ontario healthcare. We need to join together immediately to make this happen. I was going to say it when there's a consent agenda item coming up. I'll make it public. I said some words previously that I have apologized for. So I want to make that as a public statement as well, too. We need to be respectful in this battle. We don't need to be scared of taking the battle on. Thank you, Mr. Warden.
Thank you, Kevin. Any other news and celebrations? Okay, I have one motion left for adjournment. Oh, sorry. Councilor McLean.
Mr. Warden, just, we'll probably have more discussion on this later, but I would suggest that at some point we should talk about delegations at emo because there is a deadline and that may be one of those points.
Absolutely, absolutely. Motion to adjourn the council portion of the meeting today. Councilor Carlton and Councilor Pringle. All those in favor? That is carried. We'll just take a minute to change over to our committee of the whole meeting.